And I guess. Okay, we are live. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good day, wherever and whenever you are in the Full Circle Magic world. Welcome to another live Q&A. Welcome back, magician, creator, controversial magic figure, and brand new television star, Mr. Justin Miller.
Hey guys, what's up? How's everybody doing?
Well, I'll answer for everybody, mate. We're doing great. Not as great as you by the sound of it. This, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Justin, this be your third interview with Full Circle Magic?
Second.
Okay, I thought you'd done one before. We've done, this is the second time we've had a chat, so
right.
This will be great to have an update.
Yeah, definitely.
So now, look, we've had a hard time tracking each other down to try and get this interview on air. What have you been doing?
Yeah, it's been very, very hectic, which is such a great thing as an artist and a creator. I've been working on a lot of secret projects, a couple things that I can talk about now, which is the Murphy's lecture I just got done doing with Greg Wilson, and man, we really hit it out of the park. I think I really felt it was my best lecture, not just material and content, but it was really like a powwow session with me and Greg, and just kind of our minds going back and forth. We're convinced that we were switched at birth at some point.
I see some similarities.
We have very similar. Yeah, it's really exactly. Well, I just went the next step. I don't live in denial. He lives in denial still, and that's what he calls his comb when he pulls it over. So yeah, I don't live in denial. But I told him on the lecture, I said, well, I'm just you older. That's all that is. And he's older than me. So yeah, it was really, really fun. And the DVD comes out in about a month or so. So yeah, and I'm actually doing pre-sales for the DVD. 3.5 hours, 3.5 hours of magic, of thoughts, ideas, knowledge, theory, but not just that. We really changed the kind of what lecture I wanted to do for a long, long time. Because every lecture I've ever been to is just I don't care who it is and what they teach, it gets boring. It gets boring with talking and showing and talking and showing, and there's this monotone feel of lectures. It's just this.
Cool.
And also, when a magician does something, let's say they vanish, I call it the unnecessary awe. It's the moment where a magician takes something and vanishes it, or a magic moment happens, but it's not so like it might just be a retention vanish, right? And the magician stops in the lecture and pauses to get that applause. But magicians watching that don't really want to applause that. They're waiting for something bigger, so they do the. Right, and it's just awkward. It's that awkward moment, and you're like, oh god. So we got rid of that. We got rid of that by replacing it with a live performance of every single trick that I teach that we shot the day before. And then what we did is we went back and forth, like, okay, let's stop there. So let's talk about why you did that, Justin, or Greg, this is why I did this. I want you to see something here. Notice how. So it was a great way to dissect the performances. They weren't edited performances. We went out and got the raw footage, and that was really important to me too. I wasn't trying to look for the perfect shot or the perfect reaction. I was looking for how to show people how to create that perfect moment in that raw situation. And this was on St. Patty's Day in California. It was insane. And wait till you see the performances and the people we get to meet. They were just off the chart. And I'm glad it was that rowdy. I'm glad it was that kind of situation, because it really showed how to handle those situations. So we really changed the format of lectures, and Murphy's has decided, I think, to continue that format now. So it really, really works.
Excellent. So there now. Question: how did Justin do a different lecture? We got. Thanks, mate.
All good.
I'm joking.
What I'll do is I'll just read your mind, and then I'll just we'll cross them over as we go. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Look, that's great. I'm sure. I know that obviously Murphy's email bomb everybody, so we'll all hear about that. It's going to be great actually. 3.5 hours. That's brilliant value. So these lectures are gold. If anyone hasn't got onto them, the Full Circle Magic guys. If you haven't got onto these at the table lectures, boy, they're gold. They seriously are gold. You know, I can be a loud, proud critic of magic marketers sometimes. Even Justin would know that. And but I got to say, these lectures are gold. They are worth every cent you could possibly spend on them. So yeah, have a look and check it out. I'm sure there's some great material on there.
Yeah, hey, Justin, Murphy's is really on the cutting edge of. They're in a great place right now where they can actually just really kind of test things and see if things work, and this format really works. It really works. And Greg is an incredible host, amazing, just really great.
Yeah, I see a long and loving relationship forming there.
Oh yeah, it's already started. We've already sent each other love cards.
Well, a bromance.
Yeah, bromance, of course. Yeah.
Hey Justin.
Yeah.
Talking about downloads makes me think of something that we've discussed at depth many times. Piracy in this business, as we know, downloads are notorious for being torrented really quickly. You and your good friend Adam Wilbur, for people who don't know in the Full Circle Magic world, explain who Adam is and your initiative with him to combat piracy in the magic world.
Yeah, Adam Wilbur is one of my absolute dearest friends in the entire world. He is the general manager of Illusionist, and he and I were on Wizard Wars together on Sci-Fi. We were partners, excuse me. And this is something that I've been fighting for ever since probably 2005, 2006, when my DVD, The Cloak, came out. This is when I first got really some traction in my magic, but I also got a kind of a 101 class about how piracy and torrenting was about to kind of go down in the future. And when 1 week my DVD was illegally downloaded on torrent sites over 3,000 times in 1 week, and now that's one DVD at $30. You do the math. I have over 40 DVDs out there now. I've created close to over 4,000 effects, and I have lecture notes and tons of downloads. I mean, I have like 21 downloads just with Illusionist. So this is something that's really close to my heart because it's close to my wallet, which is close to my life. So this is something I've wanted to do for a long time. And the goal of MAP, which is Magicians Against Piracy, is to curve the playing field and to change the rules of the game so that the people who have been putting up tutorials and reveals using our images, using our video, and using copyrighted material as far as when it comes to digitalized copyrighted material, it really pushes them back, and that's kind of the goal. We've taken down close, not close to, but panels. Now they've been deleted. Now, if you don't know what happens with YouTube, YouTube has a very strict policy when it comes to copyright infringement lawsuits. They will allow 3 copyright infringement lawsuits once within 6 months. If you get 3 of those copyright infringement suits, they will delete your channel completely. Since Google and YouTube are in bed with each other, they have a very strict policy when it comes to emails and social security numbers and things like that are linked. So they look for those things. So it's a lot harder to get back online and have a YouTube channel. Because how can YouTube know that bed with us? But they are in bed with us when it comes to the reveals. So what I've done is I created a Facebook page called Maps, Magicians Against Piracy. And the goal was, because I listened to the customers, I listened to the fans, and what they're saying is they would always send me messages. They would always send me Facebook messages. Hey, there's a reveal video up. And what do I do? What do we do? What do we do? And it got me thinking, like, well, the problem is that the fans and the customers were not connected to what they were fans of, which are the magicians. So I created a place where they can connect together and send the messages and send the PMs, because the person who files a copyright infringement lawsuit for you against a channel has to be the owner of the material or the person on the video it's being revealed as on that channel to be able to file that lawsuit. So I can't file something. Me and Danny Garcia were talking about this a couple days ago. I can't file something for Danny. You know what I mean? But if I'm a customer of Danny's or fans of Danny's, then Danny's on Maps, so I can now send Danny a message and say, hey, this is being blah, 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 and he can go and file it himself. Now, the beautiful thing is that most of these idiots who have put these channels up, they end up putting multiple artists up on their page, on their YouTube page, and multiple DVDs, multiple downloads of these magicians performing and revealing the magic. So what we can do is, if there's one of Danny's and one of mine and one illusionist, game over. So we have an advantage over these guys because they're dumb and they have their ego and their narcissism of trying to get fame and numbers on YouTube will be their downfall in the end.
The savior for magicians in general, I'm hoping, is our networking ability.
Exactly, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to create a home and a place where they could connect like that.
Yeah, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, for anyone on Full Circle Magic who's not sure what Justin's talking about, we'll post a link to Maps afterwards. Pop on over to his page, join, check the feeds. The beauty of, I think, us networking in this way is that, as Justin said, if a creator is the one who's got to register the copyright violation, and you don't know who or how to get in contact with them, I can guarantee you someone on Full Circle Magic does or knows someone who does. I don't think there's anyone in this magic world that we've tried to contact yet that we haven't had any luck with. So, you know, if there's any questions there, that's what we're here for. We aren't just here to teach magic. We're also here to make sure that the art's looked after for the future.
Absolutely, yeah, and I think as long as we become the purveyors of this art and of our generation, every generation becomes that, we can evolve magic, we can protect magic, and we can solidify magic in the annals of history.
How dire do you put the piracy situation in magic, Dustin?
Oh, it's class schedule 1. I mean, you know, MAP is basically Homeland Security for magic. That's what it is. That's why I see it that way. When I envision it, that's how I envision it. Because it really is bad. It's really, 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 really bad. When Freedom Pack first came out, probably within the first 2 weeks it came out, there were over 22 channels on YouTube. Not channels, 22 pages on YouTube of my Freedom Pack reveal by different people. That's insane. There's like 10 to 20 hits on every page. If you add up how much Freedom Pack costs. Once again, we're talking about one trick. We're not talking about 40 DVDs. We're talking about one trick. And if that one trick is copied and revealed over 3,000 times, I mean, it hits us creators hard. You know, I went through a long period, man, of just giving this up, saying screw this, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not putting magic out anymore. I'm going to create. I'm going to sell my services out to people who I know and trust and respect, and they like my magic and they want to hire me for that reason. Then they would be only exclusive. There may be 10 people in the world exclusive that I sell my magic to. And I just kind of weighed out the whole thing. Then that's when MAP kind of started to I first thought of MAP, the concept of MAP, not the name, back in 2007, like I said, with the cloak when it first came out. So I've had it in my mind for a long time. I've talked to so many different magicians, Paul Harris, mostly people illusionists, and just all my friends, Kelly Morelli, Danny Garcia, just all the magicians that I know. And we've all been trying to figure out an answer for this, and at least now we can curve it. We can make the playing field a little bit more fair now.
Mm. Where do you see us being able to hit the other side of the market, which I guess is probably the what people call the BRIC economy, the Russian, the Chinese, that type of market where as my friend Stuart Farquhar says, the Chinese say copyright, they mean copy well.
Yeah, yeah, it's funny. That's funny. That's a whole different ballgame. That's a whole different set of rules. That is a moral and ethical line, and so you cannot force someone to be moral or ethical in any way whatsoever. They're going to do an action based on what they believe their perception of life is for them. So I can't control that. Nobody can control that. Anybody can go out and do anything they want to, morally unethical or ethical or whatever it might be. Nobody's going to stop them unless it crosses certain legal lines when it comes to these kind of things. And since they're making knockoffs and they're pushing off a way higher rate, and what they're doing now is they're getting smarter. I'll use Freedom Pack as another example. In Malaysia, Indonesia, most Asian countries, they are using the artwork that we had from the beginning, but they're refilming it of them doing it and then packaging it like that. So they're not breaking any law when it comes to the digital copyright because they're making up their own. They're not using our footage. Now we'll prove it. We have the same thing. It sucks. They can put years on it. It sucks. It sucks. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know. If there was a God, if there was a God, and I don't believe there is, hopefully maybe that God could help us out with that situation and create some morals and character development for these people, and they can realize that they're stealing from other people's pockets, other people's ideas, other people's minds, other people's careers they're stealing from, and they're fake people. They're using it for themselves to get famous. That's what we have in this world. We have people who are creative and become famous in their circle because of who they are and what they've done and the hard work they've put into it, and people have recognized that. And then we have the people who come alongside and take that stuff and use it to promote their own fake world and think that they're amazing. And that's just they're full of people like that. And unfortunately, those are the people who get away with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I liken it to you say the Freedom Pack they've re-recorded. That's like someone in China re-recording a U2 song and using their cover and trying to say it's a different thing. The music industry would have a field day.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's like doing a bootleg version of something and it's not the real movie and they just made a shittier movie of it. Exactly. That's it. And what do you do? How do you fight it? How do you fight it?
Well, I think one of the issues we probably need to look at further down the track as a community is forcing change to IP laws.
To what?
Changing. We have to force some change on intellectual property laws.
Oh, I agree, but that's only going to start at the Senate. I mean, and people have to vote for that kind of thing. So if people in that country don't think it's wrong, they're not going to vote for it. See what I mean? That's the problem.
Yeah. We don't have a coordinated worldwide approach, obviously, which is one of the problems.
No, we don't, and I think it would take a long time to get that because we'd have to get every artist, every person who has a creative bone in their body, who's put any kind of work out, they all have to agree on the situation. And the problem is that the thing about art is that it's personal perspective of the world, and not everybody sees that perspective or not everybody sees that vision. The people who do see that vision, the perspective, they become fans and, of course, customers of that artist. The people who don't, screw them, who cares? Doesn't matter. That's what they think. So you got to get everybody together, and man, that's, oof. I don't know if I'll be alive that long. It would be great.
Yeah, well, the fight has to start somewhere, I guess, doesn't it? So, if you're leading the battle,
and that's what we're doing now. That is, we had to start somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell me something now. Look, you've done a lot of TV just recently, and starting with Wizard Wars on Sci-Fi. for a lot of people, obviously, on Full Circle Magic, we don't get to see it. We might one of these days. It's probably on YouTube floating around. It's probably been bootlegged onto YouTube as well. Not sure.
Sure.
Haven't had. Give us a rundown on. Well, tell us about Wizard Wars, and then tell us about your part on Wizard Wars, to give everyone an idea on what Wizard is.
Oh, so Wizard Wars is a TV competition show. It's on Sci-Fi every Thursday night. And the whole concept is like Hell's Kitchen. You have to take certain random objects, and you have to make the best magical show you possibly can out of it. The judges are Penn and Teller, Kristen Gerhardt, and of course Jason Latimer. And they judge you, and they tell you whatever. And me and Adam were picked to be on the show. And the show is created by Rick Lax and Justin Flom. Justin Flom's a co-creator of it. And it's really fun. It's a really interesting experience, and it's really draining. And it really, oh man, I mean, it was the most stressful, rewarding, unrewarding, joyful, painful experience I've probably had in so life. It was pretty intense, man. It was emotions up and down. It was crazy. And we fooled Penn and Teller. We got to the first round. And we got them. I care about for Penn and Teller to go. We did that. It was fun. It was and of course I mean the PR from it. I can't even begin to tell you how priceless that is. It's not something I could buy ever. So it's opened up a lot of doors.
So
we fought, and the funny thing is, we fought. The wizards that chose to fight against us was Gregory Wilson, Billy Kidd, and so Greg's a friend of mine. Obviously, from we have the Murphy's lecture and everything, and we bring that up actually on the lecture. We make fun of it actually. We kind of play with it, and we had a really cool teaser coming out on Murphy's about the Wizard Wars, me and him, the fight type of thing, and it's really funny. It's really funny, And if you don't know, they won with marshmallows over the head. And we made a bear come alive. We made a childhood dream come alive on stage, and we still lost. So, But it was a fun experience, nonetheless. I don't think I'd ever do it again, though.
Okay, but you'd have to say it probably is going to be, when you look back now, will possibly be one of the real springboard moments for you in your career.
Well, I've had a lot of different springboard moments. I thought about that a couple of days ago, actually, when I got back from when I got here in Vegas right now. I thought about that when I left to California, and I was like, there's been so many little moments in my life in magic in the career that there's been these, and then jumping off into this great unknown of like amazing stuff, and then I hit another one. And so this is just another one I've hit, and it's been amazing. I'm just riding a ride right now, and it's a blast. My hands are up in the car, whee, So it's been fun, man. It's been fun, yeah.
Where's the next step after that then?
I have a couple secret projects I can't talk about that has to do with a movie and a TV thing, so I can't talk about that, but. I have a couple DVDs coming out with Illusionist. The one's going to be on sleeving. So people know me from the beginning about sleeving. Sleeving's been my thing, and I haven't done sleeving for a long time as far as like doing something as far as like downloads or market-wise. I use sleeving in my everyday work when I'm out and about, and I have the correct jacket or shirt or something. But I'm doing a DVD on sleeving with coins. But it's not just sleeving; it's ditching. So we don't know what to call the DVD. But we're still kind of thinking about this. But it's a ditch DVD. It's ditching pockets, how to ditch correctly, secret ditches. Sleeving is going to be a part of that. Loading things on people's bodies. So it's going to be a really interesting mix of not just magic, but how to invade personal space while getting away with things. Kind of. It's going to be really interesting to be. Then I have another one I can't talk about, Illusions as well. So yeah, a lot of great stuff. I'm working on getting on Ellen right now, and so we'll see what happens with that. So a lot of weird stuff, man. Like I said, I'm just enjoying the ride.
Excellent. I look forward to a sleeving DVD or a ditching DVD. I think for a lot of younger magicians who probably have shied away from it, it's the old cliche of magicians using their sleeves. It's actually funny because when you do use your sleeves, most spectators don't even realise that you might be able to. It's just a cliche for them.
Absolutely.
It's a reality. If you can incorporate that into your magic, you start doing some amazing things.
Oh, absolutely. And I love doing magic when the spectators think it's going in your sleeve. So they think, oh, it's in your sleeve. Then you rip it. No, it's not, obviously. But then when you do sleeve it, they don't even think to ask that question again because it doesn't look like it would be that situation. So it's all about choreographing and methodology, when it comes to those kind of things.
Yeah, for sure. So now, you want to take us back? You want to take us back a sec? You said you made a teddy bear come to life for Wizard Wars. What was so the concept was you had a limited number of objects?
Yeah, we had 3 objects in the first round, 4 objects in the second round, and we had to create the most amazing piece we can possibly come up with from scratch. And the second round we had teddy bear, footsie pajamas, alarm clock, marshmallows, and a mug. Yeah.
Okay, and how much time did they give you to come up with workable routine?
I can't say exactly what the time limit is. I'm not allowed, but it's a lot shorter than what you would think. Where most people would take routines and acts and create a show over years to perfect. We get a very short amount of time from those years. I mean, it's that much. So, yeah, it's not a lot of time at all.
That's television.
Right, exactly. That's Hollywood.
There always used to be a saying in television. Now I'm showing my age now. Is that you got to get it down because it costs tape. I think they still may say that actually, even though it's all digital, it still takes time. It's an expensive.
Time now. It costs time and manpower now.
Absolutely. So you're one of the few lucky people that we know that have sat in a room with Penn and Teller. Give me a rundown on those. Totally off topic, but big. They're my pinnacle act. Don't take that personally. I'm always interested in people that have spent some time with them.
Yeah, Penn and Teller. I gush. I love them. They're incredible, absolutely incredible. Penn's mind and Teller's genius, and just they're an absolute brilliant team, genius people.
Did you get to spend much time with them during the show?
No. I mean, they had us in and out type of thing when it came to the show. We just shot it, boom, and left. I mean, I was on a plane. I was on my way to the airport. Literally right when I walked off stage, I got in a car and went to the airport. Literally, everything was already packed.
Cool.
So it was on a time schedule. Yeah.
So you're in Vegas at the moment on projects?
What's that?
You're in Vegas at the moment on a project or on a holiday?
Both. I'm leaving tomorrow.
Okay, back home?
I don't know yet. Maybe. I think so. I don't know.
Not sure.
Well, what's really interesting is that lately it's just been like I've been getting phone calls the day before. Hey, can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? Yes, I'll be there. So I've just been kind of going by the seat of my whatever whatever the saying is, the heel of my seat or the seat of my pants or whatever stupid thing. Whatever stupid thing a person came up with that makes no sense. So yeah, that.
Fair enough. Hey, Justin, I'll skip off to some questions that we're getting from
absolutely.
people viewing.
Absolutely.
So it might be a little bit random.
Please.
Actually, Alex Borton's got a question. Interesting one, actually. What's your position on spoof magic tutorials? Like, fake tutorials, fake reveals on YouTube. As that, how does that relate to combating, the actual virus that we're talking about?
The more the better. I think as many people put spoof videos up there, the more the better. It's kind of a finger to those other people. So I love them. I think they're funny.
Yeah, I think my first experience with them was probably Rick Lax himself.
Oh yeah.
He was really great at protecting Vertigo.
Yeah, it was really, really good. Absolutely, with the mask and everything, it was funny.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't think I mean, I don't know, but did it ever get torrented? I don't think anyone could ever find it. He was running people in circles from memory.
Oh yeah, it was a nightmare. Yeah, yeah, he was really funny. I mean, and I think it also discourages people once they keep seeing. And that's the other way of fighting this is that for torrents is having people put up fake videos and fake to torrents and fake links. So and make it a long download. So by the time they get a download, they open it up and they realize it's just a big finger at them. That's a great moment for us. We hit another one out of the park. So I have a team who does that, who goes on torrent sites and uploads stuff.
So you have a team who does that? Did you say?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Excellent.
Most magic companies do. Most magic companies have at least one guy that does something like that.
Oh, there you go. There's something. You learn something every day, guys. I'm sure that most of our network, probably our community, probably didn't realise that. I certainly didn't realise it myself. Although, given time to think about it, you would assume that would be good business practice.
Absolutely. Well, it's just an idea to come up with and infiltrate that, or to activate that idea. It really is a good idea. Thanks, Alex. That's a great question. Thank you very much.
So, back to working with Illusionist again.
Do you want to take a few more questions? Do we have more questions? I mean, I don't want to
I'm not got any more. There's not many coming through, but that's fine.
That's cool. Cool. I just wanted to kind of make sure we get it layered between answering as many questions. Fine. Yeah. So what were you saying about Illusionist?
Oh, look, Matt, I was just saying that as far as your... Oh, hang on, where we go? Alex is on the question issue. We'll just chat amongst mates for a while. What I was saying, Matt, is Illusionist. I always, when I first started back in Magic after a big break, your face was probably one of the first I ever saw on a video screen, and it was always with the E logo behind it. Does it feel like coming home for you?
It's really interesting. When I was in California filming the Murphy's Lecture, my dear friend Stephen Himmel and I got together, and he was saying the same thing. He's like, dude, you're the first guy that I really started following an Illusionist. You're the first one I remember. You're the one that got me, whatever. And I started thinking about it. I was like, I was the first one to have a lasting career with that company to continue on, because at the time it was Kevin Parker with Revolution and Corey King with King's Rising. That was the only two artists that Illusionist had, if you want to call them artists at the time. There was never really a lot of promotion about them. It was just, here's the trick, whatever. But I was the first one that they kind of said, here, let's give this kid some more stuff. Let's give him a more, a bigger background to work through. And yeah, so it's been really interesting. It's been I love Illusionists. I love Brad. I love Adam to death. Peter, Daniel Madison, all those guys. The new guys, Lloyd Barnes, all the new guys that are working. I think Illusionist has always been on the cutting edge of new magic and new ideas, and they're very particular about what they put out and who they put it out with, and those kind of things. So I've seen that company mature and evolve just as I have matured and evolved throughout the years. So I'm always willing to put my hat with Illusionist, 100%. But I'm also not stupid, and I'm a subcontractor, so I don't just put something out with one company. I always put something out with at least a couple of different companies, obviously to raise my own awareness with other people who maybe don't know me. And that was the reason I did the Bold project with the downloads, because it had been so long since I put something out with E that there was a new generation of magicians arising, and I wanted to hit those people as well. So it's been really interesting and fun. Yeah.
Bold project was something pretty successful for you, obviously.
What's that?
The Bold project was actually probably obviously one of your more successful projects.
It was really, yeah, it was really an interesting project. I love the Bold project. It's a lot of great material, and it really is thinking when it comes to methods. Like, you see a lot of weird methods on there, and it's kind of where I'm at right now with methods and how to do things, which is interesting because I have a trick that I want to show you guys. Do you mind?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, please.
So this is something I did at the Murphy's Lecture. And this is probably one of Greg's favorites that he really dug. So I start off and I tell people, I said, this isn't really good. This isn't like a great trick. Like, it's not David Copperfield or David Blaine. It's more like a got your nose type moment. So if you bear with me, I'd appreciate it. So here's how we'll do this. So they would have a card selected. So let's say that's the card. Okay. And I obviously would not know what the card is, and it goes back in the center of the pack. You say, I'm going to try to find the card. Your card's going to jump to the top of the deck. Your card, the 9 of hearts. Is that correct? 9 of hearts, sir. 9 of hearts. Yes?
No.
No, that wasn't it. See, I told you this trick is stupid. So let me do another gotcha moment. Sorry, it's not that good. But watch this. This is really interesting. Watch. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. I'm using my thumb. But I'm not. I'm not using my thumb. It's just oh, this thumb? You think it's this? Okay. All right. Okay. I apologize. Here, I tell you what. Let's do this. I have a better idea. We'll try something else. Watch. Isn't that amazing? You're not impressed at all. I can tell. Okay. Okay. Let's try this. Let's try this. I'm trying to impress you. I told you it's not good. I did tell you that. Okay, that's a little weirder. What was your card? Do you remember?
It was the Jack of Spades. That's nice.
So this is a really fun little thing, and what's nice about this is you can really play around with a presentation. So what this is I was working on this in a mirror one day, and it just came to me. But what's happening is your finger is moving the card, okay? It's stuck to this finger, and it's moving the card this way. What's really cool about it, though, is when you have the other hand in front of it and you go really slowly, you get this crazy image of this haunted card just kind of moving back and forth. It's this great moment. So I wanted to have that moment expanded, and every single stage up to that point it's a red herring. It's like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing. So what I've done here is I've gotten some Octopalm, and if you don't have Octopalm and you do close-up magic, what is wrong with you? Shame your hands. Stop it. It's ridiculous. Go get this stuff. It is the best stuff ever, and it has the best. Go to Murphy's Magic to get this. It's really good. So I created this little piece of art for the Murphy's lecture, but for the longest time I couldn't figure out what to put on my finger. I was double stick tape, but that wasn't practical. I'm not going to carry tape in my pocket. That's ridiculous. So I was trying to come up with all these ideas, and finally I found Octopalm. So what you're going to do is you're going to put a little dab here, and what you're going to do is let it dry. So I like to put it on maybe about 5 or 10 minutes before I do this trick. So I just put a little dab, and I spread it out a little bit, and I wait for it to dry. Now it'll dry in about maybe 40 seconds or so. Okay, so we'll do this. I'll do reverse jazz hands. That's what we'll do. And you want to get it off this finger. Just rub it off so it's not on this finger. You're now going to take your thumb as you're talking. So this is why you're talking to somebody, whatever. Hands are in front of you. You're just going to casually do this with your thumb to get a little bit on here. And then as you're talking a little bit more and get a little bit on here. So you have it on this thumb, and finger of the left hand. The nice thing about it is you can handle the cards very smoothly. It's not going to hurt the cards. It's like double stick tape but reversed. It doesn't actually stick to the cards. You have a card selected, looked at, shown. I'm now going to do a move that everybody says they created. But Howie Schwartzman supposedly came up with this move, but I don't think he did. And it's a great move. It looks like it goes into the middle of the deck, just like that. But it really goes on top of the deck. And so all I'm doing here is I'm pushing in a couple cards from the bottom. this now card's out the top. When that happens, it looks really, really, really good that it's going to center. Once I get a couple cards there, I now just slide this on top. At the exact same time, and this is important, as I push this card forward, this finger is going to close everything up and tilt at the same time. And the illusion looks perfect. It looks like it's gone in the middle of the deck. And I say, this is how I present. I say, you know, it's not a really good trick. I'll try it. It's like, got your nose, you know. So I want to build it up to a point where they're like, oh, that's not good. Oh my goodness, what's happening? So I pause and I point to them, and that's when I get a break below those two cards. What was your card? Turn over the cards, and that's not the card, obviously. I cheated. I dropped it, so I was going to do that. I might as well. It's at my disposal. But what you normally do is just turn it over, take off the top card, and put the deck away. Now you want to create this kind of red herring. You want to give them false explanations and make them think that they know what's happening. So it's going to go like this. You're going to put your fingers together, these fingers behind, and notice that I'm not touching this with the finger yet. I'm not forcefully doing it. And there's a reason why. I don't want it to stick yet prematurely. So I bring it up like this. Now remember, I have a little bit on this thumb, so I start moving the card around with that thumb. And which is funny because you can see the joints move and everything. So you're not trying to fool them. You're trying to reel them in. And you go, look, isn't that amazing? You're like, you think it's my thumb, right? You go, no. And as I say that, I push with the thumb on this one. I go, no, it's not my thumb. See, look how stupid you feel. And then of course, ha ha ha. And you say, oh, this thumb. And that's when I switch everything. I grab it here, and now I press on this with this finger. As I press with the thumb, but I press with this part instead of the sticky part, so this ensures that it's going to stick onto this finger now. I say, okay. Watch this. Now I push it together against my hand. I'm going to let go with the thumb, and I'm going to blow at the same time. And now they think I'm just blowing on the card to keep it pushed against my hand. You go watch. Pretty amazing, right? Pretty good. Like, ha, ha, ha. Okay, we'll do it one more time. Watch. You're not impressed. Okay, how about this? And then I slowly move everything away. I lift my thumb up slowly as I let the breath go back so it looks like it just happens magically. Now there's a conundrum. Now there's a conundrum because before it's the thumbs. I've shown it was the thumbs. Before it was the air. Now all of a sudden, what is it? Now what is it holding this card up? So now when this moment happens, you say, what was your card, by the way? And they name it. Let's say two of spades, right? You now move this finger behind all the way. And because everything's in front here, it doesn't look like you're doing anything. Look how beautiful that looks. They see their card. It's now changed. As you start to grab here, you have this situation. As you start to grab the card here, your finger comes over and gets to the exact place as it was before as you turn it over and hand them the card.
That's great. Now, don't take this the wrong way. That would drive kids crazy.
Sure, of course it would. Of course it would.
Hey, I have a nice subtlety for you that you may want to think about incorporating. Okay, so your hands are loose like this.
Stop. I was just about to show you that.
Okay.
I was just about to show you that.
You know where I'm heading, obviously.
We talk about that in the lecture. We talk about that in the lecture. So here's my problem with this. Because I want this moment to be here. They think it's a thumb. So what I came up with is this. So once it's here, me and Greg actually showed me this. So once it's here, blow, come back, right? Blow, come back. Then now all you have to do is same thing, turn it over. The problem is, here's the problem, because you've now created a bigger situation here, the card's a little bit harder to see turn. It's a little bit harder. You don't get this full. You see how much space you get here when you do this? Right? With this, it's blocking it more. You understand?
Absolutely.
So it's a little bit more difficult.
Yeah,
it's a little bit more difficult to see.
You could go to the
What's
next
that?
finger up. I guess. You
Probably you can't because this finger doesn't. No. Here's why. I've tested this out, man. Here's why. Because this finger doesn't as much as this one does. This has more of a stretch.
Yeah. So
with this finger, I'm not getting the full turn. You understand? I'm only getting that. That's all. That's the furthest it's going. With this finger, I can get this thing to turn all the way over.
Oh, it's sweet. It's sweet. Absolutely.
With this is really, really cool that I came up with is you put the hands together like this. If you bring your knuckle, this knuckle, hide this knuckle, you can now open your window up. You can open the fingers up like this, and they can see it from behind. Oh, that was a bad angle. Hold on, let me get a better angle. There we go. So they now can see this from behind. Let's do right here, I think. They can now see it. You see it? Isn't that kind of cool? They can see it go all the way over.
Yeah, nice little window there.
And now you can just turn it over and hand off to them. So there's a lot of neat little ways to do it, but it's a really weird moment. It's not a card trick to them. It's not a piece of magic at first. It's this gag. It's got your nose, haha. And then at the end, it's this moment. They just explode. Like, what is happening? And you just turn it over and hand off to them. So,
thank you for sharing.
Yeah, it's called So, and it is on exclusively, except for it's on the Murphy's DVD, the Murphy's lecture I just did.
Beautiful. Well, thanks for sharing that. That's great. I'll smack back to some other questions.
Sure.
Where do you see magic in the media in the coming 10 years? We just had someone win America's Got Talent. It seems like it's on every TV station. Do you think it's at its peak now, or will it go back down in popularity?
Magic has this really interesting lifespan, and it does like a 10-year stint and a 10-year. It's really weird. For 10 years, next 10 years, nothing. It's all. They feel like it's dying. And all of a sudden, whatever be 10 years. What we're seeing with the internet, what we're seeing with technology these days, is that we're seeing a longer lifespan of it becoming. It's going longer than 10 years now of the up. So I think it's getting traction from the time of its inception or conception, back when magic first was invented, if you will, to now. So it's been on life support, on life support, and now it's now being able to chew food by itself. You know what I mean? It's now being able to go to the bathroom by itself. It's
Just going through a bad connection point at the moment, guys. Just bear with us. Not sure whether you can hear me, Justin.
Can you hear me?
I can sort of hear you, cutting in and out. Not sure. We never know whether it's this end or that end sometimes.
How much of a delay is it?
I think I might have you back now. Yep, got you back now.
Are you there? Are you there?
Yeah, you guys are
can hear
good from this angle.
Can you hear me right now?
Yes, yeah, I can now. Yep.
Okay, good. I think it was on the delay there for a while. It had like a minute or 2 minute delay.
Yeah. Gender terrible. It's that they talk about magic media. We complain about a bad connection when we're talking on a 12-hour delay on a time thing on the opposite side of the world.
Yeah, yeah.
We'd still be waiting for the fax to come through 12 years ago.
Oh, I mean, even 30 to 40 years ago, the amount of information it takes within 1 second to get across from one place to another now would have taken 30 years. Look at it that way. And that was back in the 80s. I mean,
look, I tell the story, Justin. I learned computers when I was in high school, but the computer programming I learned when I was in high school happened on cardboard pieces of card that size, where you had to do X's and O's and X's and O's, and then run it through a computer. 2 plus 2 took a good week.
It's amazing. It's amazing how we've evolved. It's incredible. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
we live in a really cool time right now.
Look, I think, and that's an interesting point in itself. I always say to people that I think the internet has been, and I'll ask you the same question of you I ask of everybody that I interview, because I have my own opinion on it. Social media, friend or foe?
Friend, 100%. Social media is like a wild animal that you bring in as a pet. If you don't know how to handle that animal, if you don't take classes and learn how to handle that animal, your family will end up dying probably, or something really bad is going to happen and that animal will take over. So if you bring a lion into a house, you better know how to handle a lion around a 5-year-old. You know what I mean? So I think it's a great thing for the arts. I think it's a great thing for what I do in general for marketing and creating magic. Some people might not think that, but I do.
Yeah, look, social media, I think done well is brilliant. Done badly, it can be awful. But you know, yeah, I guess it's for me. I've always seen pretty much what you have. It's a way to communicate with the rest of the world, to tell everybody what I'm doing, not to hear about what they're doing or their problems. I've got enough problems in my life without taking them online.
Well, so many people use Facebook as a diary, and that's just stupid.
True.
That's dumb.
Yeah, true. Yep. I mean, you've basically, to be fair, you've created an audience from Facebook, certainly from all social media.
Yeah, I was one of the first to really kind of do that. I mean, I saw that this was a great place to. It was really a jumping off point for that kind of thing. In the beginning, people started. Not everybody, but some people were calling me the Dane Cook of magic, because Dane Cook did the exact same thing with MySpace. He used MySpace to connect to the fans and he was the first comedian that ever did that. So I just kind of went on his heels with that concept with magic, and I used it for social media with Facebook and with newsletters and with Instagram now and Twitter. And I look at everything that comes out. And I'm not on every network thing, because that's ridiculous. I don't need to be on all those. But, the main ones, the heavy hitters is Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and then, of course, my website, my personal newsletter. And I have a little over 40 to 50, I think 50,000 people now on my network. So
that's impressive numbers.
Not bad.
I just had a quick tip come through, which I'll share with everybody, and you may not already know it, but I'll share it with you anyway. Quick tip for Octopalm. Hand sanitizer takes it right off, as long as you're just using it very sparingly.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's great. Very nice. Yeah, you definitely you don't put a ton on. Just a dab will do you. That's great about the sanitizer. I did not know that. That's really great. Is that your tip?
No, it comes through. I'm presuming that's from Alex Borton. I'm not sure who sent that through, but it's a message that's come through from him. So saves having your hand stuck to the steering wheel.
Whoever put that question through, very nicely done. Great tips there.
Yep. Okay. I'll have a really quick one. Now, I can't tell you who this is from because it appears to be in Russian, I think. You got to love Full Circle Magic, you know. I'm sitting here on a Sunday morning talking to a dude on the other side of the world on the previous afternoon, taking the question from a Russian.
On Saturday. I'm Saturday, you're Sunday.
Yeah, that's right.
We are time traveling right now. How cool is that? Think about that.
I know.
Wrap your head around this concept. We are literally time traveling right now from different parts of the world, different time zones, different days. We aren't even even in the same parallel dimension. Boom, mind blown, mind blown.
Yeah, absolutely. So, question from a Russian person who, well, I think it's right. Look, I'm not going to say Russian but it looks like Russian. And this is going to be a really vague question, but I know you'll answer it. Which is your favourite card control?
My favorite card control, probably the pass. Probably the pass, and it's the most illogical control for one card because you're using more energy than needed. You're passing 2 packs around just to control 1 card. So when it comes to that, I would say the pass. Now, a single card control would be my side steal. So I would do a side steal for that. But I love the pack at the same time.
Now that's really timely. That's really timely you say that because I was just last night actually rereading some of Gary Ulay's book about on the pass, called The Pass, and I recall John Rackenbaum was saying it was like a pass was like using a look, I can't remember the way he put it now, but it was basically using a sledgehammer to kill a flea.
Right. Right.
Although he was possibly one of the best exponents we have of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And he would know. He would definitely know. So I'm along the same lines, but I still like my pass because like I said, I do it right in front of them. I tell them to look at the deck while I do the pass.
That's a classic pass.
So I like that kind of thing.
That's a classic pass you talk about.
It's a combination between a dribble pass and a little bit more work. What it is so let's say the card has been selected, it's controlled, 2 of hearts. I don't know if you can see that. 2 hearts, there we go. And so what I do, when I do the pass, I turn my body at the same time and dribble. And the pass is done. I've already passed it to the top. So, and the quickness of my pass. So I'm squaring up, and I'm just doing a regular pass, just like that, but I'm doing it in the action of turning. So I've already got it done at this point, and then I just dribble the cards. And my what I say to them is I say 7 of diamonds. Now, how far down do you think that card is roughly? What would you say? Estimation. And so they're looking at the deck the entire time while I'm doing the pass. So I don't do a pass hiddenly. You know, they used to, in books and stuff, they used to say, well, you know, wait until people are looking, you know, do the pass there or do the pass there. I used to do it this way, too. I used to do it behind their I would have a card selected. I would have a break above it. And so as I move them to one side, I would come over and I would do this, but I would do this on their shoulder as I'm moving them from side to side and then come back. It's a really deceptive way of doing it. I do it every now and again that way. But I like the point of them being able to see the card, look at me, I ask the question, and then it's already done as I turn. And the reason I'm turning, supposedly, psychologically to them, is to give them more of a better view, which is funny because I'm not. I'm just doing it to hide a big motion. You know, the big motion, the smaller motion covers the bigger motion. The bigger motion being, of course, yeah.
The Charlie A pass is probably more common among stage magicians, obviously, because when you're working on stage, you tend to reposition spectators more organically, and it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, and you know, to do a pass on stage is so easy. Nobody's going to question it.
Anyone who is worried about putting the time in on the work on a pass, I can tell you now, and Justin will probably back me up here. I've probably spent 5 years coming up with a very, very average one, but it works in front of audiences, so I probably shouldn't be too critical. But what it does teach you in that 5 years is a massive lesson in misdirection.
Absolutely. You learn when to do the pass, when not to do the pass. And I think that's a really good aspect of like learning magic in general, is that you just kind of learn from you listen to your audience. You just listen to your audience, and they'll give you cues of how to choreograph your magic if you listen to them. And by listening to their oohs and ahs and, oh, what'd you do over there? You know, that, so you realize, oh, I shouldn't be, that this hand shouldn't move now, you know, when I do that thing. So you just got to listen to your audience. You have to fail a lot. We talked about this in the last interview. You have to fail a lot in front of people to get better. I mean, that's just the bottom line. That's the scariest part for most magicians, or people, excuse me, who say they're magicians or want to be magicians. That's a scary part for them to want to purposely fail. Magicians or people getting into magic, they don't really have a lot of self-confidence. And most magicians who did this from birth, pretty much, we were outcasts, we were loners, we didn't have girlfriends, we were of the uncool crowd, we were dorks and geeks, most of us. It's very rare to find a magician who was awesome and cool in high school and middle school and is awesome and cool now. It's just very rare. It just doesn't happen that much. So we are a band of degenerate misfits. Enjoy the party. That's what we are.
Absolutely. I often say that magicians are a strange mix of massive insecurities teamed with a huge ego.
Right. There's a conundrum there, isn't there?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know how the two gel, but when they do, it's magic.
Right. Exactly.
Steve Friedberg's got a really good question, actually, and it's one that's close to my heart. Do you believe too many people pay far more attention to the latest, greatest effects at the expense of classic magic, and is it a good thing?
I think magic needs to be categorized when it comes to what comes out in the market as what's the best method. And we have so many different damn fingerprints on it that you don't really know which one is the best method because everybody has their own version of it. And hopefully it resonates to magicians buying these things that go, oh, well, that's better because it can be done in the hands. That's better because less of you is involved and more of them is involved, or whatever the method might be. So I don't look at it anymore as classic magic and modern magic because, let's be honest, what we're doing now will be considered classic magic 20 years down the road. So it's only classic magic within the generation, the ones that's passed, which is why we have classic rock music, and Guns N' Roses is now classic rock music. You understand? And that was in the 80s. So people are looking at Guns N' Roses now as our dads and moms looked at Led Zeppelin and looked at Robert Palmer. You know what I mean? So classic is really it's an undefined term over history, but it's a defined term within each generation because we give it that meaning. So I don't look at it as classic. I look at it as what's better? What's a better method? If you have a better method. I just put an Instagram video up, and we'll talk about my Instagram stuff. But I've been doing a lot of Instagram videos lately. It's kind of my passion. This idea. He's been kicking it out of the park. But I did one where I put the deck inside the box, and then I just rip up the box and throw everything up. So you see the cards go in the box, and I just rip immediately. No camera tricks or anything. And so, if you have a better way of ripping up a deck of cards in a box, show me, tell me, put it out. I want to see it because if it's better than mine, I'll do your version. I don't think that we have too much ego in our art where well, just because it's my version, I want to keep it. But if there's something better, you got to remember, and you understand this, when we do magic, we're doing magic for audiences. We're bringing them into a place of mystery and wonder and astonishment. Magic's not for us. It's not for us. What's for us is the response from magic. And for people like myself, it's the creation of magic. It's the birthing of something new. I think magicians get confused a lot of times. So when it comes to classic, when it comes to modern, if a better version of something I'm working on, I want to do your version because it's going to be better for our audiences in the long run, and they're going to see better magic. So I think it's really interesting. I think there should be another part of magic where we just take the best methods of each plot and kind of put it on another website. You know what I mean? And just solidified. And if somebody comes with a better one, they get kicked out and the new one comes in. I think that's the way we should do it. But the problem is the market is so saturated. Getting back to this question by Stephen. It's Stephen, yes? Was that correct? His name?
Stephen, yeah. I'm sure he'll take either.
Yeah, yeah. So, it's so saturated. The market is so saturated that it's so hard to sift through the best versions of what it is. So I don't see a difference between classic magic and modern magic. It's whatever magic does the job. It's whatever method does the job. It's whatever presentation does the job. And we should always be striving for the best method, the best presentation, the best psychology to make it the best experience for our audiences. And that's kind of how I see that.
Yeah, I guess the word best bothers me sometimes, though, because I guess best is such a subjective term depending on what you're doing. You know, I mean, I personally have I guess, a filter, a paradigm that I pretty much run effects through, and it burns me that there are some great stuff that I will probably never do because it's just not where I sit and it's not where I fit. You know, close-up magic, it's got to be resettable, it's got to be redoable, like, you know, that type of thing. And there's a lot of great stuff out there that I'll never use. So whilst one may be the best method, it may not be the best method for me. So I guess it's a very hard question to answer.
I don't think so. I think you're looking at it wrong. I think you're best for you. I don't like. I do magic that I don't like. There's a couple things that I do I don't like. I don't like to do it. But you know what? The reactions and the response from the audience tells me that I got to keep doing this because it's a really good trick. And if I don't like it, doesn't mean I shouldn't do it. It just means I should take a look at it and go, okay, is it about me?
Yeah, no, probably. Yeah, probably. I may have said that wrong. It's not about. Yeah, it's not definitely not about what I like, but it is definitely about. There are certain things that need to be inbuilt for me to be able to do it on a regular basis. That's all.
Sure, it's got to be. If it has a gimmick, the gimmick has to work perfectly. It's got to be indetectable. It's got, you know, a lot of different criteria. And, you know, me and Gregory were talking about this over the weekend. Is that when we put something out, I really stopped putting things out that were half-assed. I mean, I used to put stuff out just to put stuff out. And we were talking about this, and I said, you know, that's kind of a maturity level of coming as a creator into the market, is that you learn that you don't just put out anything because you created it. You know, not to do that. So now everything I put out, I can possibly be. I want it to be the destroyer. I want it to be a solid piece of magic that people will do, and if that means impromptu and the gimmick's not as good for impromptu, then it's going to be impromptu. If a gimmick is better for that, then it's going to be gimmicked. So there's a lot of different variables, and I understand what you're saying. When you purchase magic or create magic, there's a lot of variables and factors that go by of whether or not it's release worthy, or whether or not it's even sharing worthy. I have things I haven't shown anybody, not one single magician that I do in my regular stuff, that because it's mine. I never want anybody else. I know what will happen. People start doing it, and I don't want them to do it.
So what?
I want to save that for audiences.
So what advice then would you offer to? Look, I'm going to say younger magicians in general, but not totally. What advice would you give them when it comes to coming up with something that they think's really good and then rushing to release it? Your advice?
Every single person that contacts me because they think they've created something brand new and absolutely amazing and just the next big trick. And then I watch the video. You let me know. And I give them that respect so I don't hurt their feelings. So they can answer the way that if they want me to just, and a majority of people are like, no, tell me the truth. And so I have to kind of go, well, this is what or it's not original, or it's blah, blah. And I'm like, every time, like, I thought it was original, I thought it was, everybody is trying to create. And I'm going to tell you something right now. I don't think every single magician is a creator. I don't think every single magician is a performer. And if you have those two combined and you are those people,
It looks like we just lost Justin. He'll be back up in a second. I'll contact him on Facebook.
Okay.
Oh, there, he's coming back in now.
Here we go. Bear with us, folks.
are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, good. I don't know what happened.
Oh, just a bad connection today, mate. I think that's yeah. Unfortunately,
Are we back on? Live?
Yeah, we are. Magicians and their vanishing tricks. I don't know. Can you give it up for a minute? I can see. I can hear. You go.
Right. So, I don't think every single magician is a creator. I don't think every magician is a performer. If you have those hybrids, those are people like me, like consultants and creators get to do all these other cool little things behind the magic. Don't worry, it's okay. Don't let it. Don't if you can't. I mean, the emails and the PMs I get all the time are, magic is so hard to create. How do you do it? And I don't know. I don't know how I do it. I have no formula. We talk about this on the live lecture. There is no formula. Certain people have a different kind of brain chemistry than other people, how their brains work. Some are slower, some are faster, some are mid. It's everybody creates differently, but not everybody's not a creator. Don't worry about it. Work, you know, focus on performing, focus on those kind of things. And to do that, you start to learn how to create magic through performing, and you actually might be a creator, but that might be your stepping stone. You know what I mean? If you're not a performer, but you have all these ideas and all these crazy things running through your head, then create magic. Learn how to create more and more and more. And then dabble in performing a little bit. I know a lot of friends who are incredible creators, but they are horrible performers. Or incredible performers, top-notch, solid, never created a thing in their life when it came to magic. I don't know how it works. I don't know why it works. I'm happy to be in the hybrid side. I'm very fortunate for that reason. I'll tell you a story that the first time I ever created when it came to magic was when it was 10 or 11 years old. I went to one of the local IBM meetings, International Brotherhood of Magicians meetings, and there was a gentleman there by the name of George Kirkendall, and our older audiences will know George. And George was an incredible magician and creator of magic. And his shells and his reels were top of the line. They were the Mercedes-Benz of his time. And he comes and he says, "Here, kid, check this out." And he had a pipe and he had a handlebar mustache. I mean, it was great. Put it in his fist and vanished. Sleeves were up and everything. And I had no clue how he did it. I had absolutely not a clue. And it was so magical. So I went home. And I got to thinking, how did he make that disappear? So I did a little art crafts project. I took a toilet paper roll, I cut it in half, little thing here. I put a little bottom on it so nothing could fall. I took a paper clip, stuck it in between, so it's like a handle now, right? Like a little bucket band, a long one, and I tied it to the end here. And then I put a safety pin here. And then I attached it to the back. So I created a pool, but I didn't know I created a pool. And then I realized that if I grabbed it in with my hand like this, because I remember his hand was like this. So in my mind, I'm thinking he's doing all this stuff. So I push it in, let the pool go away, and it vanishes. So I go back the next week. I go up to George. I go, hey, let me show you something. And I do the trick. Boom, vanish. He goes, oh, you know, but the thumb tip, do you, kid? Took a hit off his pipe. And I go, thumb tip? He goes, this. He pulls this up. I'm like, oh, my God, that's how you did it? He goes, wait, that's not how you did it? I go, no. I then showed him what I concocted. He looked at me. He goes, come on, kid, you're in. And it was like an initiation into the Brotherhood of Magic. And it was really cool. It was really neat. But that's the first, and no means that I create the pool, and no means that I create any of this contraption originally. But in my mind, I was trying to figure out how to get this done. So my mind has always been like an engineer's mind. I look at problems and I go, how do I solve that? What's the best way to solve that? And when you're doing magic, I also have to put in the factor of, not only is the best way to solve this, but what's the most magical way to solve this? And sometimes the best way and the most magical way are completely. And that's the challenge of creating magic.
We all come to that from a different perspective, I think. As you know, I create. I do a lot. I pretty much do all my own original material when I perform. I haven't marketed any yet, and I'm not in any rush to. But I find that I'm not a creator that thinks about what he wants to do and then comes up with it. I generally tend to get people say to me, "Wouldn't it be cool if?" And then my brain goes, "Yeah, wouldn't it? Let's come up with a way to do that." You know, so I guess
how many times have you listened to your audience say something like that? Dude, that'd be so cool, right? Yeah.
Well, absolutely. To
answer the second question about is it a race? Getting back to the second part. Yes, it is a race. Me and Gregory are talking about this. Every single time we create a piece of magic, it is a race to the market. An absolute punch in the head. I got to get this out first. We're not dealing with rocket science here. That means that people are dealing with the same plot or they're working on the same plot. They might come up with the same idea. So we got to put that out as fast as possible. Get my name on it. Bam. That is a reality. The problem is that's now a hindrance to people coming up in magic seeing that. So it sucks because we don't have a community where another person goes, unless you're friends with those people, you don't really know how to contact those people. So if I know that Blake Voigt's working on a new idea with a torn and restored lamp, and I have 5 versions of the torn and restored lamp, and we come together as friends. Only 5, yeah. I'm like Marlo but with lamps. It's weird. So we come together, and since we're friends, since we know each other, one of us might come up with the idea and say, hey, let's do a collaboration DVD. Let's do a collaboration project. And now we've taken our combined ideas, and now we're like, well, let's see if there's other people who have the ideas in the torn and restored lamp. So now we look for other magicians who are creators, and if they do, bring them into the project. Great example. The new thing. Great product. Amazing. B. Smith is on there. Andrew Gerard is on there. Bro Gilbert is on there. This is a collaboration. And I guarantee you it's because they all had different ideas to use with this product, with this effect. So if you don't have that connection to those people, how do you know where to find them? So now you're just kind of out in the ocean hoping nobody takes your trick. You know, when Freedom Pack first came out, this is a great example. Freedom Pack first came out, right before it came out, we got word from somebody somewhere else and like, hey, another guy's got something really similar to this, and I'm just letting you know it came across my desk. So we had to move up the Freedom Pack release by a month because of that race, because of that rat race that we were in. So yeah, that's the reality, and yeah, it sucks. But yeah, so it's the first time I come up with something and I'm like, boom, 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 and I got it down. See, that's the hardest part, right? Coming up with it, now doing development and research on it, now going out and actually performing it to see what kind of reactions you get, to see what needs to be tweaked, to see what needs to be honed. That takes years sometimes. And now we live in a marketplace where years doesn't cut it. Danny Garcia gave this answer one time, and I'm going to parrot it because I connect to it, so I own it myself. Is that people asked him in an interview once, it's like, how long does it take you to, from start to finish, how long does it take you to create a trick, research and development, go out and perform it, and then market it? He said, well, before I became who I am today and the kind of notoriety that I have, it would take years and years and years. But because I'm so used to seeing what's good and what's not good just naturally now, I can look at something and go, that's going to be great. I can look at something and go, that's not going to be good. I know the processes I've been through before. I'm so a part of that world in my head only that I can look at something now and go, I got this. This is great. I go out and perform it twice. I know it's going to be perfect. And that's all I need. A couple times, and I know it's good. You know? But I can look at other things and go, that in the back burner, hoping nobody comes up with it, you know, until I come up with a better method or a better, you know, presentation.
Interesting. Yeah, I think it's diluted the magic market somewhat, but I guess it's inevitable, and that's one of the downsides of social media. I guess
there it is, right? Exactly. Learning how to handle social media, and that you're right. That is one of the downsides of this thing. You're right.
Interesting. On the electronic side of things, what's your take? Let me see, John Shimko. What's your take on the technology magic? So iPhones, iPads, that type of thing.
Neat guy on I think his name's Simon on YouTube that does iPad magic. He's been on Ellen and Today's Show and all these places.
That's amazing. That's an amazing routine.
He has learned. He took what Marco Temp did at a very immature stage, and he adult. And he blew me away, absolutely fried me, when he took the picture and moved it from there to Ellen's frame. And then I was just like, what the hell is going on here? Love this guy. Loved him from the beginning. And he doesn't do all original stuff. He's doing other people's iPhone stuff and Shenlim stuff on his. He does a lot of Shenlim, different people come with iPhone stuff. So he's not like totally original, but he's doing incredible magic. It's a fine line. It's a fine line if you're trying to present a piece of magic in reality and using technology as a visual aid, where sleight of hand would have been before. You know, it would have been used before. I mean, I have tricks with phones. Smile. I did that on the lecture, the Murphy's lecture. So I've been doing Smile for 6 years or something like that, and that uses a phone. I also have the other 2 phone apps that I have that I absolutely live by. I'm going to plug these because this is so good. Is Greg Rostami's. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I predict is beautiful. It's a list of all your contacts. Then you have one contact here, and you say to them that you are you just got back and you met this person. She's a really interesting person. Her name's Kristen. She lives in the Hollywood Hills there. And you have them think of a playing card. They touch the message. They send a message to her of what was my card. And then just a few seconds later, she comes back and basically says, hey, I can't talk right now, but I think you're thinking of a card. It's black. It's 5 of spades. And whatever card she takes back, that's the card they were thinking of. How great is that? That's beautiful.
Would it be
I love
correct?
that. I use that almost every day that I go out and do magic.
Okay. Would it be correct then to say perhaps that the effective technology magic is the one that melds magic back into reality?
Wow, very nicely said. I like that. It definitely, you start off in reality, you then go into Wonderland, and you now take Wonderland and push it back into reality with the results of what happened in Wonderland, but now it's in reality. And now they have to process this in the moment. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, sir. That was a great assessment of what I did not say or wanted to say. It's great.
Yeah.
I love it.
I mean, I see that in I, Simon's Act. It's you know, it's using technology in a way that people understand, and then it's turning that technology back into real items that, you know, in some cases come actually out of the technology. It's real tangible objects. Whereas technology,
Absolutely.
I think, what frightens people.
I don't like, and I think this is where it would fall into a separate category. I don't like when Simon does the milk thing into the iPad or that kind of stuff. That's insulting your audience. You're insulting your audience. You're saying, I hope you're dumb enough to really think that I'm pouring milk into a picture. And to me, that's not magic. That's a gag. And I don't think gags and magic should ever be roommates. Ever. Ever. I get really pissed off when I walk into a magic shop and I see gags next to magic. I lose it. I absolutely lose it. It drives me crazy. It's one of the biggest pet peeves I have when it comes to those kind of things. So if you're going to do a gag, do a gag. That's fine. But if you're going to do magic, then do magic. And don't put gags with magic. Just like I don't think cardistry should go with magic. They're not the same. It shows skill. You don't want to show skill. You want to show magic. There's a difference. Skill tells people how you did it. Magic allows people to think differently and to maybe wonder a little bit, have astonishment in their life that we all live. So I think, and I make a joke about this in the lecture. I say all cardistry is the magician's ego trying to get it out. It's because we practice so much with magic in the mirror, and we have all the secret stuff. We can't show the secret stuff. So I have skill. Look at me, and it's like a release for the ego of a magician to go, oh, now you can finally see how I do it. It's skill, but it's art and it's juggling. It just doesn't belong together at all. They need to be themselves, and they should have their own fame and glory, 100%. I'm not against cardistry. I think it's a great piece of art. I think it's amazing visual stuff to watch, but it's not magic. And I will defend that, and I will fight it, and I will prove it is magic. Or people who say, well, no, I use cardistry to insinuate my magic. That is the dumbest, most laziest excuse I've ever heard in my entire life. That makes no sense.
Yeah, look, I'm a bit the same. I'd have to say I slightly disagree with the gags magic thing though, only because of personal experience. As an 11-year-old going to a magic shop that was also a joke shop to get dribble glasses and to get flies in ice cubes and fake doggy do. To then see a Svengali deck perform for me the next time I went there is where I ended up doing magic. So I guess that love of a gag led me to where I am today.
But that has nothing to do. You're confusing the issue because that has nothing to do with magic and gags being together. That has to do with your experience of how you witnessed each one differently. So it has nothing to do. So you don't disagree with me. You just have a different experience. It has nothing to do with the argument. The argument's simple. Magic and gags should never be connected in any form whatsoever, because here's the problem. Because this is where audience members make the assumption that you are a clown, or that you only do kids parties, or you're only, and that's why have you ever done this? Have you ever heard an audience say, "Ooh, show me another joke"?
Mm-hmm.
Do another joke.
You must.
Okay,
be
that's
magician.
offensive.
You must be the magician. You're wearing the red.
Now, where do they get that from? They get that from magicians doing gags and making magic look trivial. And I think I think that's a nail in the coffin if we want to kill this art quicker than anything. That's why we try to separate ourselves from clowns. We try to separate ourselves from clowns for so long. We have to. We have to fight this battle in people's minds of seeing good magic and experiencing good magic.
It's a hard enough battle as it is, because that assumption is generally there, I guess. What about Alex wanted to know? What about gags and red herring?
Gags is a red herring, meaning what?
Look, I'm not sure. That's Alex's question, but I guess what he's saying is, as perhaps I'm assuming, perhaps there's false explanations along the way, a la your card effect, I guess, that you just showed everybody.
Well, that's not a gag, though. That's not a gag. A gag is rubber chicken. A gag is fake vomit. That's what a gag is. A gag is a whoopee cushion. These are just red herrings. A red herring's not a gag. You can't put those together. So they're not even equal to each other. A red herring is trying to pseudo show somebody how they think it's done, and then take their assumption and then blow it up to something completely opposite so that you've actually got them again. So, a red herring isn't a fake pile of dog doo-doo. It's not the same. Yeah.
No, I would see a red herring, I guess, as pretty much as you did in the card effect, in that you're giving slightly false or the feeling of slightly false explanations along the way.
Yeah, they're real explanations.
Yeah,
they're real explanations, but the way that I present them, they're false explanations. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's exactly what you said. That's a red herring, 100%. It's not a gag though. Yeah.
yeah, okay. I promise not to give you a dribble glass when we have a drink together.
Thank you. I'll know if it is or not.
Well, look, enough drinks. They're all dribble glasses, aren't they? Let's be honest.
I hear you.
Justin, now I know we set our limit at an hour. I just noticed we've ticked over an hour and a half. Do you want any more you want to cover, or do you want to keep talking, or do you want to?
Are there any more questions?
Yeah, actually, no. I just got a message from Alex saying like a rubber chicken to a chicken. I see the line in the sand he is drawing. Thank you.
Nice.
Which is actually a pretty cool effect. I do a piece in my stage act, my full show, where I get the audience to select the effect I'm going to do and select the object I'm going to do. Obviously, a lot of forces along the way, and that actually is one of the effects I do. There's a rubber chicken. A rubber chicken turns into a real.
Oh, rubber chicken turns into a real chicken?
Yeah, absolutely. I hate using the rubber chicken because it is a gag item, but it takes that clown element away.
Interesting.
Yeah. Just playing with that one. Questions. Let's have a look. Let's see what else we go. Look, we're going back around in circles again. George Medina wanted to know, where do you see the future of map going?
I think I already answered that.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. Let me see. Okay. Really, Nick Altieri, will we be coming to Boston soon? Are you planning on doing any touring at all?
Yeah, I have a brand new workshop that I'm presenting for the next couple of years, and it's called Something from Nothing. And it is the whole concept of how I create magic, since that's the one question I get asked more than anything. And I'm going to be showing Wizard Wars footage. It's going to be like a class basically, and we're going to actually create a trick all together. We're going to create a trick in that workshop. So at the end, we're going to have a finished product, and we're going to show from start to finish. And I'm going to have double-stick tape and all the tools and everything that I use to create magic there. So if someone has an idea, says, hey, what if we do this, this, and this, we'll make the gimmick right on the spot, and we'll make a prototype and see how it works. So I think it'll really give a better.
Yeah. No. What I was gonna say, Justin, is before we went live, when we were having a chat, you and I were both agreeing that lectures, 3.5 hours of lecture is really good value and it's great. But when you're sitting through it, it can get boring. It's a teaching environment. Do you see the future of that teaching heading more towards the workshop type environment as opposed to stand up and listen?
Well, that's my goal. That's my goal. That's my goal, is to get the audience involved. And you have to remember, when you're doing a lecture for magicians, there's still an audience. It's still an audience. So I want to do that. Because it's going to get people in the mind of the magician, how they think, and it's also going to be able to get them to interact, and their own ideas will start flowing. And that might be a jumping off point for them to start creating magic. So my goal is to try to find as many potential creators in these audiences and help them facilitate their own career in creating magic.
Okay. So, any plans of international anytime soon? We're going to see Justin Miller down under anytime soon?
I've been asked to go everywhere to FCM. I've been asked to go to every single international convention you could possibly think. I've been asked over the years, but because I'm dealing with child support and the probation thing, I can't leave the country right now. It sucks. It is what it is. So as soon as that's over, though, in 2 years, I'm off completely, moving to LA, and I will be traveling everywhere. So I'll be coming. I'll be coming.
Oh, I lost you again. Yeah, looks like I'm having communication issues again, folks. You there, Justin? Looks like you're back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, got you now, mate. Got you now. Looks like we're going to. Looks like we've got a pretty bad connection happening.
Cool.
It's getting worse. So we might wrap up if that's right. What we'll do though, we'll keep the thread active on the Full Circle Magic page, and any questions that anyone's got, I'm sure Justin would be happy to answer them when he gets a little bit of time. I know you've got a gig shortly, so you know that might limit your time this evening. But if you'd be happy to do that, we'd certainly run the thread there for a while, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll get back to those probably or maybe Monday.
No worries. All right, guys. Look, thanks very much, Justin. It's been great catching up again. We shall have to book in a 6 monthly. I think the way we're going.
Guys. Yeah, it's fun. We'll definitely see each other in about 6 months.
One of these days.
Take it easy, man. See you guys. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Justin. And thanks to the Full Circle Magic World.
Real quick.
Sorry? Yeah?
Yeah. Real quick, I just want to...
Try again, Justin. I couldn't hear audio then.
I just want to plug my Murphy's DVD.
Oh, absolutely. Go for your life. Yeah, definitely.
So you can get my Murphy's DVD at my website, justinmillermagic.com. Right now I'm running a pre-sale on it. There's only going to be 100 copies. We've already, I think I've sold over 40 in the past day. So they're going quick. But it's 3.5 hours of magic. It's myself and Gregory Wilson for 3.5 hours just jamming on magic, coming up with ideas and showing live performances. And it's so much fun. We had a blast shooting it. And we're really excited to see the outcome of what it's going to be. And there's no editing except for cuss words and things like that we, you got to expect some stuff. And we kind of wanted to use that as an example. And we talk anywhere from magic to life. Gregory is just funny. He's so funny. We have great chemistry. So I think you guys are going to really love the way that we jive together. But check that out, justinmillermagic.com. It's on the front page. And thank you for supporting my magic. I really appreciate it. And I got a lot of cool things coming up soon that I want to show you guys. And follow me on my Instagram, which is JMAstonishment. My Twitter is, and then of course my YouTube is Endure Miller, ENDUREMILLER. And of course I have the Facebook page. And of course we have Map. I think they're gonna put a link for Maps as well. So love to have you guys aboard. And
look, we'll put a link up on there to your website for the DVD as well for the lecture.
Oh, cool! Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
Well, welcome. Cool. Admin approved.
Bye.
Guys, admin. Thanks, Justin. Talk to you soon.